Welcome back to another daily dose of Mike Mynar. So today I want to talk about LBV. LBV being a load-bearing vest, and I want to talk about the purpose of it. I want to talk about how you wake up in the morning and you want to make sure you put on your LBV. So before we get started in that, what I want to talk about is the things that happen to us. So throughout our day, when we're on a sales call or we're in sales, one of the things that we run across, something very dreadful, is called a cancellation. Now, cancellation is a curse word in my classroom and in the house. I don't like to use the word cancellation. I teach everyone to use the word rescission. But for dramatic sake, we all know it as a cancellation, and it sucks. We put out all the effort, we take all the time, we get a customer convinced that they need to buy our product and our services, only to have them cancel later. So I think we can all admit these hurt, and they can linger in our brains, they can linger in our minds for days on end, they can affect us, and they can cause us not to connect with other customers, they can cause us not to make future sales. That's the effects of holding on to an experience of a cancellation. But cancellations happen, they're part of the business. We're going to get them, we're going to continuously get them. Another thing that happens is called a no demonstration, what I reference as a no demo. You go out to the home, you drive all the way across town to go to a home, you get to that home, and that customer tells you that they didn't set the appointment. That customer, maybe they start yelling at you, maybe they even start cussing at you, but they want nothing to do with the appointment. So here you are, originally excited, took your time, maybe you could have been at a ball game, maybe you could have been at a recital, maybe there's somewhere else you could have been, but unfortunately, you show up there and they decide to do that. Or even worse, they want it, they want to listen to you, but you find out there's no way you can do the job. These can mentally affect you, especially when you start to get more of these happening. Why am I doing this? Why am I taking my time? Why am I driving all the way out to this appointment to have this happen to me? It can cause you to start to judge people. You pull up to a house and you're like, oh, this is a no demo. They're not going to want the product. I can already tell they're not going to want to buy. And now that affects you. Another thing that can occur is what's called a reset. You drive all the way out to home once again. You take your time and they're not home. You knock on the door, no answer. Call them on their phone, no answer. Can't get a hold of them. So here's an appointment that needs to be reset. Now you just took the time to do that, but no one let you know that they're not home. They didn't let you know that they weren't home. And unfortunately, you get there and they're not. So that can affect you too. Why am I driving everywhere? Only to find that people aren't home. Another thing that happens to us when you're out there is called a one-legger. We show up to the house, we've got one party, whether it be the husband or maybe it's the wife, but the other one's not there. One of the one of the couples is not home. So that causes an issue because we know that it's very hard, almost impossible, to sell a customer without their partner there. So they can make that decision together. So here you are making the decision, do I go ahead and put on this presentation to the one person, the one partner, and then hope that they can make that decision, and then have to deal with the other partner coming home later and not wanting it or not wanting to sit through the presentation. So those are frustrating. And you can wake up and be like, man, I'm just everywhere I go, every appointment I go to is just a one-legger. There's only one person home. How am I going to make sales doing this? Why am I getting this? That's the effects it can cause mentally for you. I'm always getting these one-leggers. Another thing that happens is you get that kind of upset customer that you got to put all that time and effort to. They complain about everything. They're calling you. You've got issues with them. It's just nagging and lagging. It's just affecting you mentally. Those happen, right? They're part of the business, but they're going to happen. And you're just so grateful when the job's finally done, and you just pray that they don't call you. In fact, you put their name on your phone so you recognize the number so you don't answer it, right? Especially when you're in the middle of doing something, you just don't want to have to deal with it because it's just affecting you. It's putting heavy weight on you, right? Oh, here we go again. Well, those are part of the business. They happen, right? Another thing that happens is you put on a demonstration, you make a friend, you have a good time in the house, you go through the whole process, and then unfortunately the customer decides not to buy. You can't get them to buy, or they tell you they got to think about it. So it's like getting shot down. You've done all that time and effort, but they didn't buy. And that's called a demo or a demonstration. Demo no sell. So you weren't able to create the sell. Those happen. Great things happen too. Sales. A sale can occur. You make a sale. You have a great time with the customer, and those are exciting, right? You make great commission on it. Well, those things happen too. So there's a lot of different things you're going to discover out there as you go out and you run those appointments. So there's that weight that you're going to carry, and it's going to affect you mentally. But when I talk about the LBV, you're going to see how that can help you set aside and number it, and it doesn't affect you mentally. So there's all kinds of different things that you'll run across when you're out there running these appointments and when you're talking with clients, and they can affect you, and it's how you let them affect you that matters. So the reason I talk about putting it on your LBV is you have to imagine that you're installing an LBV. Now, if you don't know what a load-bearing vest is, and the reason why I want to use that as an analogy or reference is because exactly what the name means, a load-bearing vest. These items that I just talked about that will occur, they do exist, and you're going to experience them over and over and over, whether they're negative or not. They will continue to happen to you. So the idea, instead of walking around carrying the load and the weight yourself of these things that have happened, these problems that have occurred, that have affected you mentally, you can put them away. You can give them a number. I make everything a number. So those cancellations, you know that you're going to get at least 2% or less or 5%, whatever the case is. You assign it a number. It represents something. Same thing with the demo cell. You're going to get those, right? You're going to get 1 out of every 3 or 2 out of every 5, okay? So you know that. So every time you get a cell, you get to put that in the pocket. A load-bearing vest in the military, it actually holds a lot of different items in it. Most commonly, it's going to hold your magazines, which is your rounds for your weapon. So imagine that, these little pockets. So you have to put on this load-bearing vest. You number your items that are going to happen to you, and then as they occur, you imaginarily put them in the load-bearing vest. All right, there's my bank reject for the day, or there's my bank reject for the month, or for the week. There's my demo for the week. There's my no demo for the week. This is good. I'm getting the things I need, because my job today is to fill up my load-bearing vest. I need these things to happen. They need to exist. One-leggers, there's another good one. Oh, there's another one-legger. So instead of thinking it in a negative way, I got to deal with this again, and then you carry the weight of it. Why did I have to deal with that upset customer? Put it inside the pocket of the load-bearing vest. Let the vest carry the weight. And also tell yourself these are going to happen. They exist. They're part of the business, and they're just one step closer to what? Making a sale. So sales are always going to happen if you're doing and you're putting out the work and the effort. Like I said, like the book, effort never equals zero. So we know that sales are going to take place. Just like we know demonstration no sales are going to take place. Just like we know one-leggers are going to happen. We know bank rejects are going to happen. We know cancellations are going to happen. We know all these things are actually going to happen and they're going to occur. So we don't have to give them power. We don't have to let them affect us and cause us not to create a sale because we're not mentally there and we're not able to connect with a customer. No, we're going to wake up in the morning. We're going to put on our load-bearing vest. We're going to install our LBV on us. And then every time these things happen, we're going to be grateful. We're going to be thankful that they happen because they're one step closer to sell. And we're going to put them, each one as a number. It's going to happen. 40% or 50% of the time, I'm going to get a sell. Great. I'm going to fill up that load-bearing vest. That pocket's going to fill up today. So every day, I'm constantly filling up my load-bearing vest. And then when I get home, I get to unload my load-bearing vest. I get to take out my magazines and the things that happen. There's my day. My day is complete. And then I get to start the morning out with a new load-bearing vest, completely cleaned out and ready to go, and to accept the things that are going to happen today and fill up my LBV. So again, this is the load-bearing vest training, how to mentally put away the issues and the great things that are going to happen so that they don't stop you from making a friend and making a future sell. Once again, thank you for joining in for another Daily Dose of Mike Mynar.